So, welcome to today. I'm Christine.
I'm Liz.
And we are Double D-Fense. We're an all-female New York Rangers podcast, bringing you fun conversation about our New York Rangers, the NHL and hockey, and so much more. Thank you for joining us.
Well, hey, Christine.
Well, hello.
Hi.
We have a different kind of New Year start, right? So
don't we? For those just joining us, this is Double D-Fense. We are your New York Rangers hockey podcast. But those of you who know us know that Christine and I are displaced New Yorkers. We are both in Southern California and are in the middle of what is probably the most insane wildfires that I think either of us have seen here.
Yes, it is right now being listed as the worst fire disaster, occurrence in LA history right now. And that's just the first fire. So we got a couple fires burning. Liz and I are both safe in safe areas, and wanted to make sure that everybody knows we're good. As you can see by us in the window, there's sun shining in her window. So I know Liz is a lot closer to these fires. So I'm at a quite distance away. So definitely been checking on people. Everybody we know at the moment is safe, and we are continually checking in on people. So, we're going to try to get through this episode with all our power on and everything. Because
no promises for what the rest of it holds. And for anybody listening, if you guys are affected by the fires, we are thinking about you, and our hearts are going out to you guys. This is just unreal. Absolutely unreal.
It's crazy. And they've officially postponed the Kings game against the Canucks tonight. So that's how much people are affected by this fire. So a lot of schools are closed. We're seeing this. I think it's funny. I think the last game that was postponed was for the Hurricanes. So we typically don't see it. It has to be a very drastic event, for it to be postponed. And it's definitely the right thing to do. I don't know when they're going to make up that game, but that is a significant newsworthy item as well with the Kings and the Canucks game tonight. So with that, we're segueing into the new year and our lovely team.
Yeah, New Year, and same story for the New York Rangers. We played Dallas Stars last night, which was for at least the first period seemed like I am naive. I definitely am naive. But every time the Rangers do well now, I'm like, oh, we're back. We're totally back. This is the game that they turn it around.
And then someone comes by and slaps some sense into you, right? Like in the second period, and it might be a player called Miller.
Oh God. Well, okay. There were a number of things that happened in that game, but I think when you were watching it, Christine, the Rangers were up 3-0. They blew a 3-0 lead.
I didn't watch all of it, but I was listening to it. I had to go out and I should have stayed home. Well, maybe I shouldn't have. I don't know. It was a good start. It was a good start.
So. I felt like there was a lot of momentum. Jonathan Quick was in goal, looking toward his 400th win. They are not making it easy for him.
Why do you think that is? I saw, when they scored, I saw frustration on the players on the defense. So, you can look. I was listening to Henrik talk, and he's kind of like me. You want to see the positive sides of things, and and then you've got Steve Alcat. He's the realist, and John's the Switzerland. And so in there, trying to kind of keep everybody going. And then in the last week or so, over the weekend when they were playing on, and we had to tolerate and get through ABC News. And their broadcasting, which was barely tolerable. Mark Messier said some really good things and very honest things that kind of bring things to light to kind of where we're at today. I think the combination of all three of them has been really interesting to listen to because, Messier was kind of saying he was speaking from experience back in the day with, his issues with management really kind of not being supportive of what the things that they're going through and, the reasons kind of why he left. And I'm glad he said that because I kind of been saying that too, where, every day it's people trade this guy, trade this person, trade, fire the coach, do this. But it really comes, from the top down on things. And that was a little, it was interesting that he had that to say. And then of course, you have, Steve kind of coming in there and saying, like, they got to stop doubting themselves. They got to stop doing this. They got to stop relying on that. And then you have Henrik coming in going, look, let's look at the positive side. They did well. They were taking shots. They're doing better here and here and here. But they're not making it all the way through. So what are we, and we still can't figure out why that is. I mean, I'm not going to bother to try to figure out why, but it's a matter of how we deal with things. Because I'm kind of with you, because they were doing well. And so part of it yesterday was, I think you were kind of going the same thing. It's like, did they rely too much on someone like Kreider as a crutch? And now that they can't play with him for a while, they decided to step it up.
Well, what's interesting about that, so offensively, the Rangers looked great yesterday, and Trocheck had 2 tip-in goals, which is basically like he took Kreider's job right from him. That's fine.
Well, we knew that was coming. Yeah. With him staying on the ice, until that last hug, so.
Totally. He fit right in. So I think offensively, they performed really well. I mean, we've talked about defense many times on this podcast, and it seems like that's, it's still a massive hole. I saw some good plays. I think Adam Fox had a good game. I could see the frustration. I think it was Lindgren who, when they scored against Quick, someone hit their stick against the goal and to break it. And I think it was Lindgren. I wasn't positive, but you could tell there's frustration. And I mean, Miller with that absolutely terrible turnover. He's made mistake after mistake after mistake. And I think a lot of even the Miller supporters are starting to get real short fuses with this guy.
I know we saw memes yesterday, and today, but listening, because part of when I'm having to kind of go out, I'm listening to the game. So you can listen to it on the announcers, Sam and Joe, but listening to it like on the radio too is a different aspect of it. And the interesting thing is, amidst Miller's muck-ups, he's got good plays and he's doing defensive things, but then he makes, the unfortunate thing is that his mistakes are costing us goals.
So that comes down to, in my opinion, that comes down to 2 things. It's either he's not being coached right, because he obviously has talent and ability and skill. He has that. So he's either not being coached correctly, or he doesn't want to take the lessons. So he's either too arrogant to really learn how to be a good player, or the organization is failing him, which is very interesting, because if I'm a team looking to acquire like a young, hot defenseman, I would almost look at Miller and go, maybe in the right system, he could be a superstar defenseman. Maybe he could. He has those flashes of moments where you're like, he totally gets it. He makes smart plays. He shoots well, but then something is not fully meshing. So it's either coaching or attitude. And I don't know which it is.
I don't necessarily agree that it would come down to I'm hearing a fire alarm going off. That's usually someone cooking bacon. So, but now, like, if it was any other day, it'd be fine. No, I guess I'll try to watch like his plays and stuff and what's causing him to do that. Because again, during the game, he's got good plays, but then just one play creates a turnover that's going to lead to a goal. And now it's exemplified that he made the mistake. So someone else could be making that same mistake, which they are, because it is happening, but it's not leading, to us being down by 1 or losing a game. So, I think it's just more, I think I started it because it's highlighting our post from last time, the series of unfortunate events. But to your point of like the coaching thing, if you're not doing well, like in your plays or in your mess up the plays, then they got to switch it up. So,
yeah.
And that's kind of where, because I'm seeing a lot more complaining too online on power plays and penalty kills, where the people that you want to see on the ice aren't on the ice. And so
and the people that should be taking a little break, like
I know, why do you want to
Miller,
put,
like Laviolette left him in the game after that, and a lot of people were upset about that choice.
Yeah, and that's, again, I don't understand that choice, of coaching style. So I don't.
And speaking of defense, I'll bring up one other thing. I'm seeing rumors, and they're just rumors, and I don't know if they're true, but I'm hearing that the Rangers have been quietly telling Zach Jones that he should be looking for a trade deal.
No, yeah,
but Zach Jones has had a good season. He hasn't had the opportunities. Why trade away somebody like him when I think you could get a decent return for Miller. I think he's still somebody who could be seen as very commercial for another team. I think, he has a cool look. He has a cool attitude. I think that other teams could see the value if they think that he can be a good player. It's funny to me where the Rangers hold on and where they decide to cut ties. And again, only rumors, but those rumors are coming from somewhere, and it might be somebody living in their parents' basement making memes. I'm not sure. Or it might be actually leaked from the organization.
Well, you're also seeing news of Kakko kind of shining and getting more time on the ice, scoring goals, getting into fights, whatever the things he's doing, so, and
thriving. Yeah.
So that's kind of aiding into the rumors and stuff. The whole thing with trading someone is, what are we going to get in return? So right now, and, I kind of want Matt to kind of come on and talk about how we acquired his guy off of waivers, and kind of is that going to be something we're going to see more of? I don't know why he went on waivers. So was it a similar thing? Or, is it something that because Zach Jones spoke out that we're going to see him going on waivers because they're going to push him out? Yeah, I mean, look, if it happens, it happens. I am proud that these guys are speaking up for things, especially if they feel like they're doing the work and they're speaking out. They should, because then it makes the coach and the managers accountable to respond. And so right now with Kakko speaking out, the response was, "You're gone." So if that's the case, that's the case. That's not how my job works, but that's, I guess, how the NHL works. And look, we're coming up, as they were talking about yesterday, tomorrow being, tomorrow's game is halfway, do you think we're going to be able to kind of squeak it out into a spot? Because, Steve was talking about that the other day. He's like, we got so many games left. Typically you need, and what did he say? That we're looking at a 73 points, season, and you typically need 90 to get into the playoffs. So are we really, is it becoming more of a realistic view that we're not going to make the playoffs this year?
I have to say, I'm just glancing ahead at the games that we have upcoming and the teams that we are playing. This is a tough schedule, I think, in the latter half of the season. There's some games that should be winnable, but as the Rangers have proven, not even bad teams are winnable for the Rangers right now. We've lost to the Blackhawks.
They did win the other day. Yeah, but they won. They did win the other day, and they won. Yeah, and look, they held up their own over the last couple, games, and that's where I want to, kind of on Henrik's side, is look at the positive to how they're playing. They're taking better shots. They need to take more shots. And there's been a lot of, I don't know why, I've been seeing a lot of running into the zone and then passing back instead of taking the damn shot. That's so frustrating.
Yeah. So, I thought they were getting better at that in the first period of the Dallas game. For a second, and then they went right back to their old ways.
Well, even before over the weekend with, it was funny how Berard scored, and then, then coach was talking about later. He's like, I just told him to take the shot or else. And I'm like, look, I want to see for
that attitude.
Reason, I want to see him play more, because I think he could be that good matchup for, the kids. And so, at his level and stuff.
Who I thought also looked good yesterday was Edstrom. I saw energy from him that I haven't seen from the veterans in a long time.
Yeah.
And it was nice to see that excitement. I'll give credit to Ben for this. One of the things that Ben had said to me is that he's like, what they need to do is get all of the players from the Wolfpack, call all of them up, let them play, and make everybody else sit in the stands and watch how excited these guys are to be on the ice. Watch how much energy and how they give it their all, just to sort of reinvigorate the team. And I kind of like that idea.
Well, you know who did that was the Devils during preseason. That's what they did. They let them play. I think they played games where there wasn't one NHL player there, so
I love it.
Yeah. And the other thing too, we're seeing is Will Borgen had 2 goals in 2 games. So it's good that we're seeing his name kind of coming up. Oh, although they took that game. Did they take that goal away? Oh no, they took Ben's goal away. Cause I was like,
oh yeah.
And then they took it away and gave it to Duchesne yesterday. So I was like, okay, that's okay. But again, mark these guys. We know them and they're good, So look, they're aside from like the blowout, the other day. Well, tomorrow's gonna be ugly, right? It's the Devils, right?
Tomorrow, the Rangers are playing. We are recording this on the 8th of January. And tomorrow they play the Devils. Yes, that is probably not going to be a pretty game. And then, as you know, they go on their West Coast road trip, which we are actually not going to be attending, unfortunately. Various circumstances have caused us to not be able to.
So Vegas is out this year, but the Rangers are in town in March locally. So if anyone's, I believe a lot of people, for probably because the Rangers aren't doing so well, so it's not a good investment, have decided to forego traveling out this way this year. So, I don't disagree because it's a wonky schedule, because not only are they playing, like breaking up this road trip, which we've kind of been accustomed to doing all 3 games. But when they come back, I think there's a 2-day break between like the Ducks and the Kings. So
and the schedule is very strange. So they go on their first West Coast road trip and they play the Knights, the Avalanche, in Utah.
Yeah.
And then the next West Coast road trip happens, like you said, Christine, in March, where they take on the Sharks, the Ducks, and the Kings, all within a few days of each other. And that's the end of March.
Yeah.
But around that time, toward the end of the season, they're playing the Devils, the Lightning, the Hurricanes, the Panthers, the Lightning again. Like, it is.
They can do it. I think that's good for them, though. Let's see how they do tomorrow. So if I'd rather watch them lose, but play, and kind of make it close. If I'm watching the game and they're taking the shots, even though they could be posts, even though they're playing and we're getting shitty calls from the ref, like that hook from Panarin yesterday, which I'm like, really?
Terrible call.
These things are happening. We have to, we, meaning they, because I'm not playing, they have to overcome those things. And because we know it happens to us, we saw a bad call, and, it was terrible on the ref's part, and it breaks the momentum. It turns things over. And when you look back at it in hindsight, they were wrong in stuff. So we continuously are going to see that. So expect it. And I know we are a team that does that, and typically we do better. But again, to my point, I'd rather see them lose and play well than to give up, like on those bigger, deficit games that we've seen. And so at least this past week, look, now our goal is to try to get 2 wins in a row. Like, they really need to get that. And I think that's what frustrated them the most yesterday. It's not only we're looking at getting quick as 400 while he's playing, because we don't know how long Igor is going to be out. He's right there, and he's trying so hard, and he's so close. I literally had the post ready, and then, it didn't happen. So,
I assume we will see him in goal tomorrow. Maybe on the road trip, we'll see Domingue one of the games.
Back one. Other than that, I think it's gonna be quick. But I don't know.
Yeah. I just want to talk about Domingue for a second. First of all, as this is an all-female podcast, your audience, total smoke show. I don't know. Check. He also played a great game. I thought he. Say again?
When he threw the stick was crazy.
I think he played smartly, obviously had, a great outcome for the Rangers. This was the game against the Blackhawks. I mean, I get it. Like, it's not like the biggest game in the world. However, he showed up, he did what he had to do. I think he's a great backup goalie.
2 points is 2 points, wherever you get it. And so, and again, let's acknowledge the fact that they did get a point last night. So, like, we'll take that too, because that's a major accomplishment. At least they didn't lose.
We got to celebrate the small things.
2 points right away, and we still had an opportunity. And again, it was unfortunate. So,
do we know when Shesterkin's coming off the injured list?
I don't know. And right now, we where we stand is that we've got Igor on IR, we've got Kreider on IR. And I don't know the status of Hedl right now because I know
Hedl had a mysterious upper body injury. I didn't see anything that specifically happened to him, but he was gone from the bench and didn't come back. I don't know exactly what happened to Kreider. These are all, my tinfoil conspiracy hat or
but here's the thing, and let's talk about that too, because that was kind of a post of things. So just a couple of weeks ago, he was a healthy scratch. But now it's coming out is that he's had back issues for weeks. And so they finally, so he sat out a game, then came back and played, and now he's out. So nothing really had to happen. If you've ever had a bad back, it just happens. So, and as the older we get, the more it's going to happen, and for crazy things, So I had my back out just for standing up, threw my neck out, throwing a dog toy, and I was like, here you go, and I threw my neck out, and nothing. So it just happens. Back injuries are serious, they're recurring. So I just think it kind of crept up on him and and kind of hit him. So that's kind of kept him out. So we don't know how long, either one of these guys is going to be out. Igor didn't look that bad.
No, it didn't.
But who knows? So maybe it's just a play. Maybe it's a play to kind of fire everybody up and give these two other guys a chance. So that's kind of what the reporter was talking about, was like, why are we fudging things? Why does management fudge things, and put things on healthy scratch instead of just being more open and honest about things without having to disclose their injury, because we know why they don't want to do that. So, why are we doing this, guys? Like, why can't you just say that, that they're out, or the reason, so that it makes more sense? Because this is what starts all the rumors and stuff. I'm tired of seeing everyone's bitching on social media because they don't know what they're talking about. My favorite is like, why didn't they put out so-and-so and so-and-so on the power play? And I'm like, what answer are you expecting to see here? Are you guys ready for playoffs? You bet we are. And we're ready for NFL because it's just right around the corner. And you can get on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Scoring touchdowns is key to winning in the playoffs, right? And you can score big by betting on them at DraftKings, the #1 place to bet touchdowns. Are you ready to place your first bet? New customers with DraftKings you bet $5 and you get $200 in bonus bets instantly. So if you're ready to place that first bet, try betting something simple like player to score 6 or the first player to score at all, like which team is going to win. Make it easy, make it fun, and enjoy your first time betting on DraftKings.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. That's 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. It looks like our special guest and West Coast correspondent Matt has joined us. Hi, Matt.
Oh, hey. Yay. You're not late. We kind of came early because we're making sure that Liz has power. So,
Yeah,
she's
this is
losing because of the crazy fires and stuff we've got going on here. So we've just been talking about, where we're at in the season now and wondering if we're going to be making the playoffs. We did talk about the Kings canceling or postponing their game rather tonight because of the fires, which we don't see too often. And our new acquisition. So let's start with Matt coming in. Let's talk about that acquisition.
Mm-hmm.
So what brought him to being on waivers? Do you know?
So it was just really, really unfortunate circumstances. He started his career really well. CC scored a bit, and then he kind of slowed down. He kind of slowed down with our coaching staff specifically. Our former coach Todd McClellan, right, doesn't like playing the kids, and that has kind of hindered our development. You can kind of notice that with Quentin Byfield isn't. He's still great, but he hasn't developed as fast as a lot of us would have liked. Alex Turcotte, if you remember his name, he got drafted pretty high. He got drafted fifth overall, and he's just finally becoming a star on this team. And a lot of kids like Akil Thomas. Akil Thomas hasn't necessarily been a victim of the Kings not developing. He's just been injured. I got to during his first game back, I watched him here over in Henderson. He got his wrist slit. So it's just one of those really unfortunate things. And Kaliev right now, we finally we buried the hatchet with Kaliev. We're like, here's a league minimum contract. Show us what you're capable of. Maybe we can trade you if you have a good first month of the season. And then in training camp, he goes and breaks his collarbone. It's just that unfortunate type of circumstances that forced him to be put on waivers. So,
okay.
But
do you think do you think it was something that he initiated?
Yes, he did ask. He did ask to be traded, but because of just unfortunate circumstances followed up by the not producing during the minimum amount of ice time he's gotten because he needs more ice time. He wasn't going for anything.
Yeah.
No one wanted, no one bid, even for the pennies on the dollar that we wanted and offered. No one was biting, so we put him on waivers. And Rangers fans, I think you're gonna like this guy. I think you're really gonna. His play style is perfect for what they need right now.
Yeah, I don't know when he's gonna play.
I
hope soon.
Yeah,
we'll know tomorrow if he's on the roster tomorrow. Well, and it'll also matter if Heedle's out or not, because Heedle kind of didn't come back to the game yesterday. So that makes sense. And it's interesting because we were just talking about how Kakko's kind of thriving now. We're hearing good things, out of what he's doing up with the Kraken. So, I can kind of see that. Like how the question is, it kind of goes like Liz to your thing with Miller. How much do you invest in a player to, in time wise, where you expect them to kind of reach that potential you want to see in them, So Kakko was number 2 against Jack Hughes, right? And so look what happened to Jack Hughes, and then you've got Kakko. So Jack's going all the way up, Kakko's staying down there, and and kind of Matt, you kind of alluded to the fact that it could take people so many years to kind of hit that stride where they're really producing. So how much do you think a team should invest in their player when they're drafted initially, before it probably could work better somewhere else, And then the answer could be the same with the player. How much should this player stay with the team before they realize? Because I'm thinking Kakko's like, I really like the Rangers, but I'm having fun now, So
it's interesting. It adds just a different layer of strategy, and I doubt that there's one set time that any team is like, okay, we're going to commit X amount of months or X amount of years. I think that they have to see what the chemistry is like. And if the chemistry is working, then great. And they can keep developing. Obviously, it was not working with Kakko, which is really unfortunate. I think that there was so much, buzz put around him for his level of success. But the Rangers wanted to put their efforts elsewhere, and hopefully it pays off. I mean, Lafreniere, like look at him. He had a really good season. He struggled a little bit at the beginning of this season. It seems like he's sort of finding his stride again. And Christine, I don't know if you remember this, but the very first podcast that you and I did was when we were a guest on Jeffrey's podcast.
That's right.
And I think the question that Jeffrey asked us was about Kakko and Lafreniere and who was going to be set up for more success at the Rangers. And I think we both said Lafreniere. I'd have to go back and look. This was already like several years ago.
I think I was like, even though it was reality.
I was nervous about being on a podcast. Like that was.
I know we have to have Jeffrey on ours.
Yeah. Definitely.
We're coming for you, Jeffrey. So, yeah, but it's a fair, and I think we kind of discussed that too. It's like, is it 2 years? Is it 4 years? I think what we kind of talked about with them is like the 5-year mark should be an indicator of where where their goals should be met on both sides, right? So, but yet sometimes we see people overstaying their welcome in ways, and maybe regretting it later. It's a good, fair question to ask. A player, if given the opportunity.
Definitely, and if you're a player and you're not finding success on that team, wouldn't you also want to leave? I mean, living in New York is great, but it can't be like the be all end all. There's plenty of other nice places to live.
So with Trouba, it was like kind of a rite of passage, he said, right? Which I kind of liked. He's like, I'm not giving in. I'm gonna get fired. I'm gonna let them fire me, and it's gonna be a rite of passage.
And he's right. He's right. This is all part of the sport and the strategy. It's what makes this game really interesting, because it's not just about your guys on the roster forever and ever. There's so much dynamic and potential to change. It layers on interesting stuff, and it's what makes hockey in general a very interesting sport.
Yeah, and let's kind of make it a little bit more interesting, because I didn't do
like Squid Game.
No. But look, for us to acquire him, we had to send Rempe back down to AHL. So that we could free up that cap space. And so, and I know people were asking me questions about that, like how can he be sent down? He still has 1 game to serve on a suspension. So the interesting thing on that, I know that they're 2 separate entities, but I wonder what the rule is. I don't know, Matt, did you find out what the rule is that allows them to even do that? Or, as opposed to having them serve out their entire suspension before being moved back down?
It turns out the rule is just simply you have to serve it once you're back up.
So they
have to call him up just to keep him on the bench.
Yep.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And that plays in. That's a big move right there, because
that's interesting.
It tells me I don't think we're going to see Rempe for a very long time. Because
I don't think so either.
Yeah, but
I think
but at the same time, he's thriving in the Wolfpack, and playing there. He's thriving there, so let him thrive in doing that. But right now, they're only going to call people up that they need immediately. So you're not going to be able to do it.
And every game is going to be so essential. Like we were talking, Christine, earlier about, will the Rangers potentially squeak into a playoff spot? They literally need every single point they can possibly get. Yeah, so they can't just call up a player just to keep him on the bench.
The wild card in the East is deep. It's so fun.
It's because everybody's bad. The Rangers are not the only terrible team this year, which actually makes it a possibility. It is. Nobody's run away with it.
Don't worry. I'm going to say this unironically. Every team in the league is bad this year. Every single one, except
for Winnipeg.
Well, no, even Winnipeg have had skids.
But somebody has to be like, they're all playing each other. So
well, not the worst. Okay? So,
somebody. Maybe it's just so evenly matched. Maybe that's what it is. All the teams are so evenly matched that nobody's like really rising to the top, which is sort of problematic. Like that's challenging.
Yeah, but I think they're saying with only 3 other teams have won the President's Trophy failed to make the playoffs the following year. So I'm like, can we kind of do this, guys? At least squeak your way in. So now, again, we're coming closer. We're at the halfway point tomorrow with the Devils game. Let's try not to have it be a blowout is my request.
Like last time.
And and then let's move on, and then they'll come out to Vegas. So they'll be in your area, Matt. So
good glass half full. The Rangers are only 2 games out of a playoff spot.
no.
Glass half empty. 6 teams separate them.
Well, see, it'll make it fun. Hey, Matt, remember
the season is fun.
Do you remember like years ago when this is where, and I kind of like it. I know it's stressful. I actually enjoy this more than I enjoy shootouts, long ones, especially like in the World Juniors, which we'll talk about in a second. But do you remember like years ago when it came down to for the Kings and it was quick, where I think it came down to they needed 1 point or 1 goal, or it was something crazy where it came down to the very last game. It came down to the very last period, and it might have even been overtime or something where they lost, and then they lost like the playoff spot by half a point. It was something crazy. So this is what's going to happen, and it's going to happen to a bunch of teams. It's going to really fire.
I believe that was 2015. That was the season after the Kings won the cup.
Yeah.
I remember where we were. Do you remember where we were?
No.
We were bowling. We were bowling at our local bowling alley, and on one of the TVs, they had the game that they lost.
See?
And
I do have a good memory still.
It was Calgary. It was like a Tuesday or something.
Yeah.
It was like a Tuesday night or something. And I remember that specifically because it was 2 games before the end of the season. It was close.
Yeah. This is where it comes down the wire. And I think this is the year we're going to see that. So, look, we've got a couple weeks before the 4 Nations Day games and stuff. And then of course, then it's this is where I focus in on where we're really going to be and how we're going to play. So get everything. I'm like, it's like, if you're going to have a chance, we're going to get everything out of your system now. And then, and then see how we can regroup. We got a couple of players like that are taking, some of them are going to be, sitting home and hopefully learning things and sitting in there, feeling shame and getting out and getting better, as we say in Slapshot. So, and then we have a couple people that'll be representing and playing in the games. And then hopefully they'll, by the fact of they're playing with their peers, that they maybe learn something too. And then we can come back from that, in a better position. Again, this year's already been a good sign. We've come closer. We've won. We weren't defeated for a day, so we'll take that. And so I think we're 50-50 now. We'll take that too. So let's just take it and go with it and see
as we go.
Push it out and then stay within that pack, and because that'll start weeding out, soon as well. So that would be a good thing. So Matt, we also have Matt on here because Matt, I think it made he had his own Christmas present, but he went out and watched he went out to Colorado and watched his school team, who level is DC. What are they? D1?
So Club D1. They're
Club D1.
They're in the highest club division in North America.
And they went out and ended up playing Colorado, who
Denver.
Same thing. So, I'm like, what did I say wrong? Oh, same thing. So
you guys didn't know they're related.
And Colorado. Yeah, so I wanted to do that real quick. I wanted to reintroduce myself and be like, hi, I'm Matt. I am Christine's son. I know you can totally tell. We definitely look alike. My mom grew up taking me, raised me at Kings games with my mom and my dad. And I was lucky enough to see the Kings win the cup both times in person because of how great they are.
Matt got a little famous too.
Yeah. So I hit coming out of high school, I hit a bit of a rough spot. So I kind of convinced myself to go to college by looking at colleges that had good hockey teams.
Oh, was that it?
Yeah, that was it.
Okay.
All
right. Now
that also had engineering schools. And engineering schools, but I'm gonna do that on the side. And so when I heard about obviously, not to get depressed more depressed on this kind of bad situation that's happening to us right now. But the assistant coach for UNLV was impacted in the October shooting, and that's how I found out about UNLV's club team. A few months later, he made a full recovery, and he's okay. But when that news got to the air that he was okay, it was about the time I was applying for colleges, and I was like, UNLV's got a good team. I could go watch them play, and it's not too far from home. It's got a good engineering college. Let's apply. And I applied. I got accepted. And the week I got accepted, it was a Monday or Tuesday. I don't remember. But when I told Mom, she was like, "Let's go up there this weekend. You're going to take Friday after school, and we'll go up there and we'll tour the campus." And I'm like, "There's also a game that Friday. We can go." And I still have the ticket stub. I didn't bring it with me, but I still have the ticket stub from that first game because it was at T-Mobile Arena.
Oh, wow.
It's the only time they played there, which is great because it was empty and it was nice.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was fun.
So all of that came back to me as I'm finishing up. I'm starting my last 2 semesters at UNLV.
Look, you heard it here, Liz. Make sure we're going to document this here now.
Last 2 semesters at UNLV. I'm scared, but it's my last 2 semesters. So I find out at the start of the year that they're playing DU. They're playing a weekend of games, one against DU, one against Colorado College, the college in Colorado Springs. And I decided to go because I went before. UNLV has played DU before. It was 2 seasons ago.
Was it 2 seasons ago?
It was 2 seasons ago.
Okay.
And they only scored 4 goals on us on 5-on-5. Paired with the 6 power play goals they scored to rout us 10-0. So I'm expecting, we have the best team we've ever had, paired with a skid versus Denver. I'm expecting a 6-1 loss. 6-1, right? I'm walking into the arena expecting us to lose, but not horribly, to this behemoth of a program with a coliseum for an arena, 10 NCAA tournament wins in the rafters.
Well, all their flags and banners high, like flying high.
3-1 after the first period, I pace around the arena. 5-1 after the second period, I pace again because I start realizing something could happen. They catch up 6-6 in overtime. We get through overtime, and UNLV wins in the shootout. And
How many rounds did it go in the shootout?
Wow.
Oh, it only went. There was only 1 goal in the shootout.
Oh, but it went how many rounds?
That is
only
wild.
3.
Only 3.
Only 3. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was crazy. Matt's like, they wouldn't even put the final score up on the board. A major upset. So
that's weird though, because see, NCAA only counts shootouts as ties, with the shootout winner going to the shootout winner. So the for NCAA, like the headline on DU's website reads, Denver ties UNLV wins in the shootout, but club records it as a 7-6 win. So the headline on our website is 7-6. It's crazy. It's cool.
That's funny.
But so a major upset. I know they had a big interview. I think you texted me that you had testimonials. So what you were talking to some of the guys? Like, so
yeah, I'm friends with a few of them. I got to speak with my good friend Matthias Del Monte. I know him and his dad, and he was as stunned as I was. Especially,
what was their expectations? Did they come in there thinking that it would be close, or they were just going to try to make it close, or to have fun and just enjoy and learn lessons?
Yes, just keep it close.
Just keep it close.
Just keep it close. But a miracle happened. The miracle happened. They did keep it close, but they never trailed in the game, and so that's kind of the key.
So do you think, well, in all the years, because if you don't know, Matthew's also grown up playing hockey, and so spent a lifetime in the rink, a lifetime watching things. And one of the questions is, as a spectator watching it, do you think that Denver underestimated them and maybe didn't expect that they were going to come out, and maybe that kind of showed the push that UNLV had on them?
Oh, yes, at 100%.
Yeah.
Denver skated circles around us. The entire shots for them were in the 60s. Shots for us were in the upper 20s, right? Like we got outshot, outplayed, and they skated laps around us. But it doesn't matter that you're skating laps around us as long as you put the puck in the net.
Yeah. So that's, it's good. So a really exciting kind of fun upset. And this occurred also, I think, in the same week of the World Juniors, where we watched USA win. Couldn't watch it because who knows where you watch these things anymore. I'm like, New York can't watch games. We can't watch games. It's all crazy.
Does anyone have
NHL?
Anyone have NHL Network? No.
You get Center Ice, don't you, Christine?
Yeah, but it's not. I don't get NHL.
It's on NHL Network. So NHL Network has its own separate.
But the problem with NHL I used to have NHL Network, then they stopped having NHL games on NHL Network, so I had to get rid of NHL Network and get something else to get NHL games. None of this makes sense.
But also when they do have NHL games on NHL Network, they only use the regional broadcasts, and then they take it off.
You can watch it anyway.
Yeah, no.
This season has been so infuriating. And I wonder if the New Yorkers are still dealing with the Optimum issue with not being able to watch on the main cable platform. I don't know. Are they still berating each other on social media? Because that got heated also.
It was really funny because over the weekend people were complaining because they couldn't
watch. Yeah, we could watch the
game. They couldn't watch it. We could watch it. They couldn't watch it. And then some of the guys went ahead and bought ESPN just to find it was blacked out. Oh, but everybody could watch it because it was on ABC 2 days in a row. Yeah. So I think they felt bad. ABC felt bad. It just kind of worked out. And then with playing Dallas last night, we did get another free opportunity to watch the game because both Dallas, and we keep talking about this now, we want to push it more. Both Dallas and the Ducks are using Victory Plus, which is giving another opportunity to watch the games. So at least we have those. There's nothing worse than forgetting the fact that the freaking game's blacked out, because there are times where I get up early, I'm like, oh, this is great, I can watch the game, and then I turn it on, it's like, nope, I can't. I don't know why I thought I could watch it.
And then, of course, we're all watching it and texting each other, but everybody's at a different time in the game because nobody's watching it on the same system. So nothing is happening simultaneously.
I know. I love it. Liz is like, woo!
You were definitely on a delay last night. So I could tell you were on the delay. So I tried to stop. And then
there was one day. Oh, and then on the regular broadcast, you were on a delay for some unknown reason. Like, I don't know how ABC's delayed for you. So it was all good. But also, let me just go back to the World Juniors. So not only do we see this, USA kind of defending a two-time, so now they're two-time medal winners at the World Juniors, but we did see an upset with Canada. So on the bronze medal round, because we had Finland, right, kind of come up and had this major upset, and that was exciting. But going into that bronze medal round, it didn't go 14 rounds of shootout, or 13 or 14 rounds of shootout. Something crazy.
Oh, hold on. I think it was 14.
Does that never sound familiar, Matt? Because that game is where I have anxiety and I can't watch shootouts. Because then they were saying I think the record for shootouts is 15 in the NHL.
Oh, so, it's painful.
It's too much. I can never handle shootouts because of Matt was 10, doing that, and I can't handle it. So. He won, which is good. So at least it turned out well, because I don't know what I would have been like if he had lost after going through all that stress. But it creates that core anxiety memory for me for any of these shootout things. So I can't imagine it being the worst is when it's in a playoff situation like that. So,
14 rounds, 28 individual shootout attempts. I saw the replay of it. Someone posted the full length version of it. That was 15 minutes long.
15 minutes of shootouts. Isn't that crazy?
15 minutes of shootout.
And then USA won in overtime as well with the breakaway, which is a great play, a great shot. Even and the goalie didn't even see it going in.
Two fantastic games.
Yeah. So look, it's just kind of goes to show you as we kind of wind down this episode too, that look, we focus in on the teams we know and the teams we love. We also try to kind of cover and see objectively other teams within AHL, but there's a lot more going out there. You get tired of your team, you're frustrated with your team, turn on a PWHL game. Right now, they've got a takeover game happening today. They're doing a couple games. We're posting like their takeover series where they're taking over an arena in different places, which is great. It's giving more opportunity for people to watch the games. The women are playing well. I'm posting up some of these amazing plays and shots that they're doing to kind of show the men that this is what the women can do. You can do it too. Let's get up there and do it and play. So you get, there's other games out there. The college games are just as exciting. Look, Matt's traveling around the country kind of following the team, and to go and travel, and spend the time and the effort to kind of see, this moment, which not a lot of people get a chance to do, is pretty incredible. So,
I told that entire seemingly useless story about me growing up and watching the Kings play and win 2 cups in person because this past weekend on December 28th and 29th felt comparable. It was beautiful.
Well, it was like that too when you went and saw them play in Missouri too. So you have some.
They didn't win it. I'm hoping to add a 4th game to that because that was a great game, but they didn't win it. They didn't win the championship. And
but they've gone as far. They went farther than they ever have before.
Yeah.
So can you send a little luck to the Rangers, please? Because
I know.
We could really use some of that in person.
It's really funny.
I kind of have to ration it.
when you came on and you started talking about the Kings, the way you kind of spoke about it is so much comparable to what we see and what we see happening with the Rangers too. And look at the 2 different outcomes we have. So, I think it kind of goes to show my point too, where it's anybody's game. You could have the same problems and same issues on 2 different teams. And I think it's not just one thing. I don't think it's a player. I'm still saying it's consistency with us because we keep changing up the lines. I mean, I like to know who's playing. I don't want to have to guess that it's going to be quick. It should be quick in there. It should be this. But yet we don't know. And then when you have people asking now, are they going to play Domingue or are they going to play quick? Hey, who's going to play? That's a problem. So, so once we kind of get out of that, and now with 3 kind of top guys potentially out for a little bit, let's see if it kind of evens out a little bit. Which will be, got 2. The next 2 games are going to be critical and seeing how they can stay close. Kind of like Matt's thing, just don't get blown out is the goal. Let's go in thinking that and seeing what we can do.
Don't get blown out. You might possibly maybe win, maybe.
I know, and just. Yeah, they were talking about it last night too. It's like, you think differently. Don't try to go for like these, these plays and moves that you've been doing because everyone's got your number, so just try to make it simple, take those shots and maybe give Miller a little bit less ice time tomorrow. I don't know. Let's see. I'm gonna measure that tomorrow and see.
Put Kaliev on an NHL ice surface for more than 8 minutes a night, please.
And then we'll see how let's see if our new guy plays.
I am slamming my folding table of a desk right now. I'm begging them.
I know. So let's spread this other, energy, from World Juniors and college hockey up to the NHL. Let's get a little more exciting, especially on the East Coast. Right now, West Coast is doing okay. And, then we'll kind of focus more. We're we'll have you on a little bit more as we kind of get into February, and March when the Kings are and we're going to be playing the Rangers and the Rangers will be out here. So it'll be coming up quick enough, for us to see him, and they typically don't lose here, So I know they do, but they don't typically lose.
They're also never typically bottom 3.
I know.
This is unusual circumstances. Well, before we wrap up, I just want to say we're all very lucky to be able to be in a safe house being able to watch this game tomorrow night. So we are thinking about everybody here in LA. Any friends that we have that have been affected by these fires, our heart is going out to you. We're thinking about you. We'll stay safe. We're going to do our best to keep holding down the fort where we are. Hopefully that continues. And we will be back next week.
Yeah, we will. I'm ready. Bring it on.
Bye, everyone.
Stay safe, guys. Bye-bye.